Imagine standing at the eye of a storm. Chaos all around, emotions raging like wildfires, yet you remain unshaken, calm, in absolute control. This video takes you deep into the heart of Stoicism, revealing how to master your mind and emotions when life pushes you to the edge. It's not about shutting down feelings or becoming cold-hearted apathy. True power lies in commanding your mind, your body, and even your voice, turning every reaction into deliberate wisdom rather than impulsive chaos. You'll discover 10 transformative Stoic lessons that act like an internal armor, guiding you to cultivate presence through tone and posture, to speak with quiet confidence, and to respond with calm rather than startling reaction. This isn't just self-control, it's emotional sovereignty, a strategic coldness that isn't about detachment, but clarity and strength under pressure. You'll uncover why showing less outward emotion, but feeling deeply inside, signals true maturity, and how locking eyes steadily, even in the hardest moments, broadcasts your unwavering inner fortress. This journey into Stoic mastery unveils freedom, the power to choose your reactions instead of being ruled by fleeting emotions. The key to an unshakable mind amid an unpredictable world. But mastery is no magic trick. It demands discipline, daily practice, and an honest confrontation with your own habits and vulnerabilities. By the end, you won't just learn 10 lessons. You'll be invited to transform your very way of being, stepping into a version of yourself who stands steady, clear-minded, and profoundly free, no matter what storms rage outside. On 10 Stoic lessons to master your mind and emotions. 1. Command your voice. Speak with calm authority. 2. Own your posture. Embody presence and confidence. 3. Think before reacting. Respond, don't react. 4. Harness silence. Less display, more depth. 5. Cultivate inner calm. Power through serenity. 6. Hold your gaze. Show steadfast control. 7. Practice strategic coldness. Clarity over impulse. 8. Feel deeply, speak measuredly. Mature emotional balance. 9. Choose your reactions. Freedom through discipline. 10. Commit to daily practice. Forge an unshakable mind. If this is making sense to you so far, take a moment to like the video and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. It helps us reach more minds seeking clarity and strength in a chaotic world. We've talked about the deliberate power of your voice, the silent strength in your posture, and the profound wisdom of thinking before you react. These aren't just techniques. They're the foundational planks of a mind that chooses to build rather than crumble. But the journey into emotional sovereignty runs deeper, touching aspects of our being we often overlook, like the potent, often underestimated, power of silence. 4. Harness silence. Less display, more depth. In a world clamoring for attention, where every moment is filled with noise, notifications, and the relentless urge to speak, to share, to comment, silence has become a rare and potent commodity. We've grown accustomed to filling every pause, every awkward gap in conversation, with words. But what if those silences, those moments of quiet, hold more power than any torrent of speech? The Stoics understood that true strength isn't about the volume of your voice, but the weight of your words, and sometimes the deliberate absence of them. When you learn to harness silence, you're not merely holding your tongue. You are cultivating a profound inner stillness that projects quiet confidence. Imagine a situation where everyone around you is panicking, talking over each other, trying to grasp for solutions in a frenzy. Your ability to remain silent, to absorb the chaos without contributing to it, sets you apart. It tells others that you are not swept away by the current. You are observing, processing, preparing. This isn't about being aloof or detached. It's about giving yourself the crucial space to think, to truly understand before you commit to a response. Seneca often spoke of the value of quiet contemplation, of retreating from the noise of the world to cultivate one's inner garden. In a modern context, this translates to resisting the urge to immediately jump into an online debate, to hit send on that angry email, or to interject with an immediate opinion when a moment of listening is required. Consider the times you've been in a heated discussion. Often, the person who holds their peace, who listens intently, and then speaks with careful deliberation, is the one whose words carry the most authority. Their silence isn't empty, it's pregnant with thought. It forces others to lean in, to respect the space you've created, and to truly hear what you eventually choose to say. Harnessing silence is an active practice. It means pausing before you speak, even when your mind is racing. It means allowing awkward silences in conversations to linger, rather than feeling compelled to fill them. It means finding moments throughout your day to simply be in silence, observing your thoughts without judgment, allowing them to settle. In these moments, you'll discover a clarity that is often obscured by the endless chatter of the external world and your own internal monologue. You'll begin to understand that less display often leads to greater depth, and that in the realm of true power, quietness can be more commanding than clamor. 5. Cultivate inner calm, power through serenity. The external world, by its very nature, is unpredictable. It will throw curveballs, introduce unexpected obstacles, and constantly challenge your equilibrium. If your sense of well-being is entirely dependent on external conditions aligning perfectly, you will forever be tossed about like a ship without a rudder. This is precisely why the Stoics emphasize the cultivation of an unshakable inner calm, a state of profound serenity that transcends the fluctuating tides of fortune. This inner calm isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending problems don't exist. It's about understanding that while you cannot control external events, you have absolute sovereignty over your perception of those events. As Epictetus famously taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This single truth is the bedrock of Stoic inner calm. Think about a typical modern scenario. A massive project at work suddenly goes off the rails due to unforeseen circumstances, or you're stuck in soul-crushing traffic, making you late for an important appointment. The immediate, instinctual reaction might be frustration, anger, or panic. Your heart races, your muscles tense, your mind spirals into worst-case scenarios. But what if, in that very moment, you could consciously choose a different path? Cultivating inner calm means recognizing that the traffic jam, the project setback, or the difficult colleague are external events. They are indifferent to your emotional state. What is within your control is your judgment about these events. Is this truly a catastrophe, or is it an inconvenience? Is this situation an insurmountable obstacle, or an opportunity to practice patience, problem solving, or resilience? To practice this, you must train your mind to pause. When faced with a challenging situation, take a conscious breath. Ask yourself, is this truly bad, or am I making it bad with my interpretation? Remind yourself of the Stoic dichotomy of control. What parts of this situation are within my power to change, and what parts are not. Focus your energy solely on what you can control. Your attitude, your effort, your response. This constant mental reframing slowly builds a reservoir of serenity. You start to see that many of the things that once caused you immense stress are simply external happenings, devoid of inherent emotional charge until you imbue them with it. You learn to accept what cannot be changed, and to act decisively and calmly on what can. Inner calm is a superpower in the modern world. It allows you to navigate crises with clear-headedness, to make sound decisions under pressure, and to maintain your peace of mind even when chaos rages around you. It allows you to be the eye of the storm rather than being swept away by it. This serenity isn't given. It is painstakingly cultivated, day by day, through deliberate practice and a constant focus on what truly lies within your power. 6. Hold your gaze. Show steadfast control. In our interactions with others, much is communicated before a single word is spoken. The way we hold ourselves, the expressions on our faces, and critically, the steadfastness of our gaze, all broadcast powerful signals about our internal state. For the Stoic, holding one's gaze, especially in moments of challenge or confrontation, is a tangible demonstration of an unwavering inner fortress. Think about the dynamics of eye contact. A shifty gaze can imply nervousness, dishonesty, or a lack of confidence. A stare can be aggressive or confrontational, but a steady, calm, and unwavering gaze that communicates presence, honesty, integrity, and profound self-control. It tells the other person that you are fully present, that you are listening, that you are not intimidated, and that you stand firm in your convictions. This isn't about trying to dominate or stare someone down. It's about radiating a quiet certainty. Imagine a difficult conversation, perhaps a performance review at work, a challenging negotiation, or even a tense family discussion. When you maintain calm, consistent eye contact, you communicate several vital messages without uttering a sound. I am listening to you. Your steady gaze shows attentiveness and respect. I am confident in myself and what I have to say. It projects assurance, not arrogance. I am not afraid. Even if the message you're hearing is unpleasant, your steady eyes convey that you are processing it with equanimity, rather than being rattled. I am present. In an age of distraction, a focused gaze is a rare gift, signifying your complete engagement in the moment. Marcus Aurelius, through his meditations, often reminded himself to observe people and situations dispassionately, to see things as they truly are. A steady gaze aids in this dispassionate observation. It allows you to take in information without letting your immediate emotional reactions cloud your judgment. When you lock eyes with someone, you are not just looking at them. You are allowing yourself to perceive, to understand, and to connect on a deeper level, while simultaneously maintaining your inner composure. Practicing this doesn't mean never breaking eye contact. It means doing so deliberately, perhaps to process information or to allow a natural pause. But when you re-engage, do so with purpose. In a world full of digital distractions and fleeting attention spans, the ability to hold a steady, open gaze is a powerful act of presence and control. It broadcasts to the world that you are an individual anchored in your principles, unswayed by fleeting emotions, and secure in your own skin. It is a subtle yet profound expression of your unwavering commitment to your own inner sovereignty. Practice strategic coldness, clarity over impulse. The term coldness often carries negative connotations. suggesting apathy, indifference, or a lack of empathy. However, within the Stoic framework, strategic coldness is a profound tool for achieving clarity and making rational decisions when emotions threaten to overwhelm reason. It's not about becoming heartless. It's about disarming the emotional hijack, allowing logic and virtue to lead the way. Consider a scenario where you are faced with a crisis, a significant financial setback, a sudden health scare, or a deeply unfair accusation. The natural human response is often a surge of powerful emotions: fear, anger, anxiety. These emotions, while valid, can cloud judgment, push us towards impulsive reactions, and prevent us from seeing the situation clearly. Strategic coldness is the deliberate act of stepping back, creating mental distance, and viewing the situation through a dispassionate lens. This practice is rooted in the Stoic principle of objective representation, seeing things exactly as they are, stripped of our subjective judgments and emotional projections. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to strip away the bark from things, to see their bare essence. When you encounter a challenging event, instead of immediately labeling it as terrible or catastrophic, ask yourself, what is this objectively? For instance, if a colleague unfairly criticizes your work, an emotional response might be defensiveness or anger. Strategic coldness would prompt you to pause and analyze. What specifically was said? Is there any truth to it, however uncomfortable? What is the objective reality of the feedback, separate from the sting of personal attack? By removing the emotional layer, you can assess the situation with greater accuracy and choose a response that is constructive rather than reactive. This coldness is a temporary, tactical maneuver, like a surgeon cooling a patient to minimize damage during a complex operation. It allows your prefrontal cortex, the seat of rational thought, to engage fully before your amygdala, the center of emotional processing, takes over. It's about delaying gratification of the emotional outburst in favor of long-term wisdom and effective action. In practice, strategic coldness involves physical distance. If possible, remove yourself from the immediate environment that's causing emotional distress. Temporal distance. Why try to be more present instead of halfway done with it? Objective language. Describe the situation using neutral, factual terms instead of emotionally charged words. By consciously adopting a stance of strategic coldness, you create a buffer between stimulus and response. This buffer is where true freedom resides. The freedom to choose a virtuous, rational, and ultimately more effective course of action, rather than being a slave to your immediate, often chaotic, emotional impulses. It is the clarity of winter air, allowing you to see the landscape with crisp, unobstructed vision. Feel deeply, speak measuredly. Mature emotional balance. One of the greatest misconceptions about Stoicism is that it advocates for the suppression of emotions, for becoming an unfeeling automaton. Nothing could be further from the truth. The Stoics understood the richness and complexity of the human emotional landscape. What they advocated for was not the absence of feeling, but the mastery of how those feelings influence our actions and our words. This is the essence of mature emotional balance, to feel deeply within, but to speak with deliberation and measure. Imagine the profound difference between someone who immediately externalizes every fleeting emotion, every frustration, every fleeting joy, every surge of anger, and someone who experiences these emotions internally, processes them, and then chooses their outward expression with wisdom. The former is a leaf tossed by every breeze. The latter is a rooted tree, swaying but never toppling.
To feel deeply means to allow yourself to acknowledge and experience the full spectrum of human emotion.
When you face loss, allow yourself to grieve. When you experience joy, allow yourself to feel it fully. When injustice stirs anger, acknowledge that anger.
Suppressing emotions doesn't make them disappear. It merely drives them underground, where they can fester and erupt in uncontrolled ways later. The Stoic does not deny these initial impressions or proto-passions. However, speaking measuredly is the critical second step. It's about recognizing that between the raw feeling and its outward expression lies a crucial space, the space for judgment, for reason, for virtue. Seneca, in his essays on anger, vividly illustrates the destructive power of unchecked emotion, describing how it blinds us to reason and leads to regrettable actions and words. A measured response is one that has passed through the filter of reason, considering its impact, its purpose, and its alignment with your values. In modern life, this practice is invaluable. Think about receiving harsh criticism. You might feel a pang of hurt or defensiveness, feeling deeply. But instead of lashing out, you take a breath, process the feeling, and then respond calmly. Perhaps by asking clarifying questions or acknowledging valid points, speaking measuredly. Or perhaps you are overwhelmed with frustration by a bureaucratic process. You acknowledge the rising irritation, but then articulate your concerns logically and respectfully, rather than erupting in an unproductive rant. Mature emotional balance is a hallmark of true leadership, robust relationships, and personal integrity. It signifies that you are not merely a reactor to the world, but a conscious agent. It shows that you respect your own internal landscape enough to give your emotions due consideration. But you also respect the external world enough to present yourself with thoughtfulness and composure. This practice demands self-awareness and self-discipline. It means learning to sit with uncomfortable emotions without immediately externalizing them. It means developing the capacity to observe your emotions as they arise, rather than being consumed by them. When you master this, you embody a profound and genuine strength, one that understands that the deepest feelings don't need the loudest expression to be real or powerful. Your true emotional maturity is revealed not in the absence of feeling, but in the wisdom with which you choose to express it. Choose your reactions. Freedom through discipline. If there is one core, foundational principle that defines Stoicism, it is this. Your freedom lies not in controlling external events, for that is impossible, but in controlling your reactions to them. This choice, this deliberate act of selecting your response, is the ultimate expression of human sovereignty and the pathway to true inner freedom.
Most of us live lives where our reactions feel automatic, almost hardwired. Someone cuts us off in traffic, and we immediately feel a surge of anger. A plan goes awry, and frustration sets in.
We encounter a difficult personality, and our stress levels rise. These are habitual, often unconscious responses. But the Stoics teach that these responses are not predetermined. They are choices we make, consciously or unconsciously, in the split second between stimulus and interpretation. Epictetus was unequivocal. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. He further elaborated that we are disturbed not by things, but by the views we take of them. This means that an external event, a job loss, a personal insult, a physical setback, is in itself neutral. It is our judgment about that event, our interpretation of its meaning, that triggers our emotional response. Consider the power this understanding gives you. If an event is not inherently good or bad, but merely is, then you have the profound power to decide how you will categorize it, how you will frame it, and consequently how you will react. This isn't about denial, it's about active, conscious reevaluation. For example, imagine you receive unexpected news that upends your meticulously planned future. The automatic reaction might be despair or panic. But a Stoic approach would involve 1. Acknowledging the initial impression of, this news is unsettling and I feel a pang of fear. 2. Challenging the judgment. Is this truly a catastrophe, or is it merely an unexpected turn? Does this define me? Does it diminish my character? 3. Applying the dichotomy of control. Can I change the news itself? No. Can I change my attitude towards it? My plan of action? My resilience? Yes. Choosing a virtuous response. I will respond with courage, resourcefulness, and acceptance of what is, focusing on what I can build from this new reality. This moment of conscious choice, this intentional insertion of reason between stimulus and response, is the very essence of freedom. It frees you from being a puppet to circumstances, from being a slave to your own unruly emotions. It empowers you to be the author of your internal experience, regardless of the script the world tries to hand you. This freedom, however, is not a gift. It is earned through rigorous discipline. It requires constant vigilance over your thoughts, a relentless interrogation of your judgments, and a consistent practice of reminding yourself what truly lies within your power. Every time you choose patience over anger, understanding over judgment, calm over panic, you are strengthening the muscle of your inner freedom. This discipline liberates you, enabling you to stand unshaken, clear-minded, and profoundly free amidst an unpredictable world. Commit to daily practice. Forge an unshakable mind mastery. In any field, is never an accidental achievement. It is the culmination of consistent, deliberate practice. The transformative Stoic lessons we've explored, from commanding your voice to choosing your reactions, are not theoretical concepts to be passively consumed. They are skills, mental muscles that atrophy without regular exercise. To forge an unshakable mind, a mind capable of true emotional sovereignty, demands a lifelong commitment to daily practice. Think of an athlete training for the Olympics. They don't just read about their sport. They train relentlessly, pushing their limits, refining their technique, day after day. Similarly, building an internal fortress against the onslaught of life's challenges requires a regimen of mental and ethical training. Stoicism is not merely a philosophy. It is a way of life, a daily discipline. So what does this daily practice look like in the modern world? Morning reflection. Begin your day by mentally preparing for what might come. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, would remind himself that he might encounter difficult people, unforeseen obstacles, or personal temptations. He would mentally rehearse virtuous responses. You can do the same. Today, I may face traffic, criticism, or unexpected delays. How will I choose to respond? With patience, with reason, with kindness? This premeditation of adversity is a powerful prophylactic against emotional hijack. Evening review. At the end of each day, take time to review your actions, thoughts, and reactions. Seneca advocated for this nightly self-examination. Ask yourself, where did I act virtuously today? Where did I fall short? What could I have done differently? What opportunities did I miss to practice patience, courage, or wisdom? This self-assessment is not for self-condemnation, but for honest learning and continuous improvement. Negative visualization, premeditatio malorum. This isn't about being pessimistic. It's about mentally contemplating the loss of things you cherish, your health, your possessions, your loved ones. By rehearsing these losses in your mind, you diminish their shock value if they actually occur, and you cultivate a profound appreciation for what you have now. It steels your mind against fear of loss and reminds you of the impermanence of all external things. Practicing discomfort, ascesis, intentionally expose yourself to minor discomforts. Take a cold shower, walk when you could drive, eat a simple meal when you crave extravagance. These small acts build resilience and reduce your dependence on external comforts, strengthening your ability to endure greater challenges with equanimity. Mindful observation. Throughout your day, practice observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment. When anger stirs, don't immediately react. Observe it, name it, understand its source, and then consciously choose your response. This detached observation is key to gaining control over your internal landscape. Reading and reflection. Engage regularly with Stoic texts. Reread passages from Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. Their timeless wisdom offers fresh insights with each reading, reinforcing the principles and inspiring continued practice. This commitment to daily practice is not a burden. It is the path to liberation. Each conscious choice, each moment of reflection, each small act of self-discipline strengthens your inner resolve. Slowly, painstakingly, you build a mental fortress, not of stone, but of virtue, reason, and an unshakable will. This fortress is not designed to keep the world out, but to ensure that whatever storms rage outside, your inner peace and clarity remain inviolable. You are not destined to be a victim of circumstance or a slave to your emotions. You have within you the profound capacity to choose, to govern your inner world, and to stand steady amidst the chaos. This power, this freedom, is yours for the taking, but it demands your disciplined engagement, day in and day out. As Epictetus wisely taught, no man is free who is not master of himself. This journey into Stoic mastery is not just about learning 10 lessons. It is an invitation to transform your very way of being. It's about stepping into a version of yourself who stands steady, clear-minded, and profoundly free, no matter what storms rage outside. The path is not easy, but the destination, true emotional sovereignty, is the greatest freedom you can ever achieve. So I ask you, are you ready to claim that freedom? Are you ready to commit to the daily practice, to forge that unshakable mind, and to become the master of your reactions? The choice, as always, is entirely yours. If this video resonated with you, please leave a comment below, sharing which lesson you'll focus on first. Your insights help foster a community of thoughtful self-improvement. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more explorations into timeless wisdom for modern life. Thank you for watching.